Hey man,
Morning, mister.
how's it going?
To be very honest, I'm hot. I'm, I just can't believe that it's like 8 a.m. The
It's
sun outside.
unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
I, for a bad reason, I decided to go to the bakery. You know, I could just, I could just accept to eat a cream cracker. But no, I say I had to go there and buy some bread, some pão de queijo, and you have no idea how I regretted about that decision. Because it's really hot outside, my friend. It's really hot. I can't just believe what's going on. And people are
I
saying that it's coming freezing from somewhere. Yeah, they say
I
about
don't know
south.
where.
Yeah. But I think they lost in the way. They were coming to
I
Goiás and then say, no, we are going to stay here in São Paulo. We are not
I
going to go.
read I read yesterday a post on Instagram of Popular talking about the cold weather in Goiás.
Mhm.
You what?
You say, I don't know what kind of thing, or we don't know what's the definition of code. Maybe it's something changed here. Yes, code is everything under 35. And say, okay, if we're talking about that, we're probably talking about a very cold right now because here, and I just don't get it because it's too early. And when I woke up in the morning, like I woke up like 6 a.m. and it was okay. And now it's 21, so it's not hot at all. Yeah,
But the sensation is 40.
yeah. I don't know how to explain that. I think it's because Goiás is so dry. You have no
Yeah.
humidity in the air that the sun becomes something like truly burning.
Yeah.
So I think we have the sensation, especially when you walk, because I decided
I
to go to the bakery and it was not a good decision to go to the bakery. I said, no, I'm going to the bakery walking and say that was a terrible decision.
Ai,
And it's in this period in Goiás from July and August, our interval from the temperatures, it's pretty crazy. Yeah? For example, today, the minimum was 17. So it's a good, but the maximum is going to be 35. So we're talking about the double. So it's like 17 degrees of difference. And I say, come on, it's a perfect weather to get cold, to get
yes,
flu, yes, to get
yes,
some
yes.
respiratory or breathing problems.
And I was remembering last night because I sleep with my window open.
Hmm.
And then I was remembering that a few days ago, a few weeks ago, there was a nice weather. It's almost cold.
Hmm.
And now it's hell.
Yeah, no, it's very funny because in Goiás they say people usually say no in the time of pecuária it's cold and say and this year we didn't have pecuária so the cold never comes. They say, that makes sense, but
Yeah.
you're saying something that's true. From May to July in Goiânia we have a nice temperature. It's good to sleep, yeah,
Yes.
but I don't know what's going on right now and things are not working.
No, I'm
Yeah.
looking. I'm looking through the window, and all I see is dust on the air,
Yeah, that's no, and in my house,
suffocating.
yeah, I am not in my house right now. I came to Acad because I like to work here for
Mm.
some special reason, for two reasons. First, because I feel that I'm going out of my house and I'm not getting stuck there. Like I love to be in my house, but in the same time, Valeria stayed at home
Hmm.
and maybe I'm working there all the time, like I do. Yes, we start working now at 8 a.m. and I go until 11. So I take her privacy, you know. So I am always with the camera on, and then she get a little uncomfortable to make noise or to clean or to do her stuffs. And so I decide to come here every day, especially because I work alone here. So I have no problems with that. I have a full school for me. Oh my God, something it's annoying on my nose. My friend, yesterday we started talking about food in general. Yes, and I just would
Yes.
like to remember some things we discussed about that, right? Have you had your breakfast already?
No, not yet. I am I have a serious problem. I don't have the habit of eating on breakfast. Uh, so I woke up, I take my black coffee, and
Hmm.
that's it. I just eat
Like I am doing.
few hours later.
It's very interesting. Before I get married, I didn't have breakfast at all. Just when my mother and my father were married. Well, they still married, but they live in different houses now. They are separated, but they are not divorced.
Hmm.
Uh, when my mother lived in, when we lived together, it was very common. My mother, she woke up very early because she got into school at 7 a.m.
Hmm.
and she prepared our breakfast and everything was ready. It was just go to the kitchen and take, you know. It just sometimes I had to heat the milk, something like that, but everything was ready, everything was perfect. But when they got divorced, when they split up, when they divorced, they separated, uh, my father and I stayed living with my father, and my sister went to live with my mother. And it was a good decision for both of us because our relationship got better. I know we started being like brother and sister when
Really?
yes, because when we lived together we just fought, we argued all the time, it was terrible. But when she left, we got very close, and it was really nice for me, and I got very close to my mother, and my parents became friends. It's something very scary because when they lived together, it was arguing everywhere all the time, and now
Mhm.
they are pretty good friends. And I say you should do this
Nice,
before.
then. That's nice.
Yeah, that yeah, it was excellent, by the way. But I was talking about the breakfast, and when my father and I we were living together, say two men live in the same house. We didn't clean. We didn't clean. We didn't wash things. We didn't cook, right? Because we're lazy, not because we couldn't do. We could,
Yes, yes, yes.
but we're lazy. So I lost the habit of having breakfast.
Mhm.
And when I got married to Valeria, Valeria always have breakfast, and she always in the morning she prepares the coffee.
Mhm.
And sometimes we have bread, sometimes we have some biscuit, you know. Sometimes we have what do we have over there to eat?
Mhm.
Like you know, like that
I,
forma bread, pão de forma, pão de sei lá
uh-huh.
como chama that thing. So we usually
I
have that in our house. So
before
I
I'm
continue.
gonna have the habit to eat on breakfast. Always have. And I when we got married, I became to eat
Mm-hmm.
something uh, on the mornings, but I not always do that.
I quite get it. For example, for this period of quarantine, we lost our routine. Yes.
Yes,
So
yes,
we didn't have a time to wake up. And sometimes we woke up like 11 a.m. And I said, oh my God, it's time to have lunch. It's not time for having breakfast.
yes.
Especially because I didn't have for a moment on this pandemic when people are started used uh, to adapt to this routine of using the computer. So people, everybody wanted something to do after lunch, not
Mhm.
before lunch. Yes. So I had no classes in the morning. My first class was at 10 a.m. So I
Mhm.
could sleep later, and then we lost this kind of habit of doing coffee, of
Yes.
having the breakfast. But now that I need to wake up in the morning again, I restore two old habits. The first habit of taking a shower in the morning, yeah, so to wake up in a cold water, and drinking my black coffee as I'm doing right now. So when I came here, when I arrived at AcadLínguas, I turned my computer on and I went to prepare the coffee. So I stay all the morning drinking coffee, and I have nothing to eat, just the
Cream cracker.
graham cracker, and I have some pão de queijo. Yeah, but because I went to the bakery, I forgot to say, today my wife and I, we slept in different houses. Her sister, she had a baby 2 weeks
Really?
ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, the second baby with my second nephew. And but she's having some healthy issues, have healthy
Mhm.
problems. And yesterday she went to the hospital at night, like in an emergency. Uh, and then Valeria stayed with my nephew,
Mhm.
and she stayed at her mother's house. And she asked if I wanted to stay there, and I said I'm going to decline today because I really need to sleep. And with Pietro, it's difficult to sleep because he wakes up at night
Mhm.
for milk and yeah, you know.
Babies.
Yes, so like a baby. Yeah, he's like 2 years old. Really
Mhm.
baby. So, and then she said, "Oh, could you come and bring the breakfast in the morning?" And I say, "Okay." That was my bad decision to go to the
Yeah.
bakery walking. I should go, but should go on in the car with air conditioner on. But we have some decisions that we regret. We regret,
Yes. Unfortunately.
but they are lessons we can take and we can carry for life. For example, tomorrow when I have to go to the bakery, I won't go walking because the sun is really,
Yes.
really hot today. Today it's a special strong Sunday. I can imagine that like at about midday or 2 p.m.,
Mhm.
it's going to be destroying, not just hot, but something
Yes.
burning.
I I don't know what it is on the outside because as I say to you yesterday, I don't leave my house on
Mhm.
almost 20 days now, and because of the quarantine, the COVID. And I was thinking yesterday at night before I would sleep to do the same that you did today was to go into the bakery and buy stuff to eat and all. But I went not.
Yeah, you decided it was a bad decision. And you
Yes,
did
no,
very well. You did very
actually, I didn't woke up at the time that I was programmed to do, so that's okay.
so yeah, you can be very thankful for that, right? You can be very thankful for that because
Yeah.
you didn't miss anything important, just a lot of sun. My friend, we are going to continue talking about that, and that was excellent. In the beginning of the class, we start talking about breakfast because I particularly have some things that I really hate doing at home. For example, the first thing I really hate doing at home is going to the supermarket. I really don't like it. I have some resistance. I go when it's necessary, but I prefer not. I don't know why. I think I can't handle this idea of going to buy something. For example, I hate going everywhere to buy. For example, supermarket or stores. Uh, Recently, it was my birthday on August 1st. And my mother and my sister, they gave me gifts, birthday gifts. But unfortunately, I got very fat on this pandemic, and they gave me
Who doesn't?
a jeans, a jeans, and a belt, and both of them didn't fit because I am really fat right now. Yeah, and then I had to go to the shopping mall, to exchange the thing, and I felt very bad. I was really how to say, angry with that situation, because I hate going to the mall for buying. I like to go to the mall for two things: eating and going to the cinema. Just that's what I do on a shopping
Hmm.
mall. Yeah, I go there to watch movies that it's not happening, and for eating. But now I'm using a lot the delivery things. Yes, buying everything I do online. Everything, for example, everything I bought here for school, I bought online. For example, this television, it was on
Hmm.
the internet. Everything, just what was not possible to do online, and I had to go, I did. But what if it was possible to buy online? I do. I prefer, because I think it's more comfortable. I don't like people, I don't like the negotiation thing. I feel
It sucks,
exhausted
really. Yeah. Yes.
about it. Say I have to, it's like I have to convince the guy to give me a discount. No, come on. I see something on the internet and say, in this place it's cheaper than this place, so I'm going to buy here.
That's
that's
it.
what I think. Yes, and I can do this here in front of the computer, so I don't have to go and etc. But my wife, she is the shopping mall lady. Not because it's very funny, because she's not an expensive girl. She
Hmm.
doesn't she doesn't expend our money at all. She doesn't buy things. If you open her wardrobe, her closet, you're going to see she doesn't have many a big number of clothes, a lot of clothes. No, she's very, but she goes there and she spends a long time to buy one thing, and this makes me feel like what I'm doing here, something like that. And then I decide not going. But supermarket, I really have a resistance. I don't like. Yeah, I think it's a bad thing to do. I don't like this idea of buying vegetables or salad things, stuff.
Hmm.
But she likes. And so we say, okay, so you go, you buy, and when you arrive home, now we are having to clean everything with alcohol, and I do that, and I keep the things. Yes, I put all the things in the counter, in the places we have.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, and you,
I,
I'm
I,
talking about me, but how about you? Do you like going shopping everywhere? Supermarket, stores?
no, I don't have a problem with the supermarkets, really. I kind of join it because I like to see I really like fruits. So when I go at the supermarket, I spend a lot of time in the fruit sections and uh, chosen and anyway. So the supermarket, I kind of like it, but the mall is not my thing, really. I just uh, go to the mall, and I just remembered that song. You did you watch How I Met Your Mother?
I watched some episodes, but I never watched all the series. Did you guys?
Really?
Yeah.
Uh, that's a character of the show called Robin, and
Robin is a girl, yes?
yes,
It's
yes,
the
yes,
person, the man is in love for all the 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 the,
yes,
the,
yes.
the
Is
series,
the
but in the end she
actress?
married the other guy.
Yes, is the
I know.
actress who played
Yeah,
Maria Hill on the
I know
Marvel.
her. I am in love with her. She's amazing. She's
Yeah,
great.
she's amazing. Yes, and then her character on the story has a background. Uh, when she was a teenager. She's a Canadian. She was a Canadian teen star, and the music that she's used to sing on Canada when she was a teenager. It's called "Go to the Mall." Anyway, I was started
No,
talking,
it's just
and I
fitting.
remember that
It's
it's.
fitting the conversation. I like that. We have our lives is made by references, you know.
Yes, yes, yes. And I watched so many TV shows, and I had to. Sometimes I remember things that. Anyway, I don't like to go to the mall. I
Mhm.
just go to the mall to one thing. Actually, it's cinema. I don't like to eat on the mall.
No.
No, because the tables is so fucking close,
Mhm.
and we like you. I don't like people in general, and we stay there, and people are listening what you talking, and you are listening what other people talking, and I don't like it. And came the pandemic, and I never went to the mall uh, any anymore. Last time I went to the mall was February, I think.
Wow. To be very honest, for example, I don't, as I said, I don't like, and I went there because it was really necessary because I had 30
Mm-hmm.
days to exchange the clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to go, and I went in a day. It was like a Monday morning, like 11 a.m. because I wouldn't,
Los
I
Angeles.
won't, yes, I wouldn't like to have the contact with a lot of people, you know. So I decided to go in a very strange time. Yes, it's very crazy to go to the shopping mall at 10:30 a.m. But I decided going there at that time, and it was a good decision because it
Mm-hmm.
was almost empty, and I loved that.
Nice.
I had no problems at eating on shopping mall because that was the only place my father allowed me to go when I was a teenager. You know, my father was very a worried man, always, always, uh, because of our safety, and he was worried about us, especially because of Goiânia was becoming a big city, and it was becoming very dangerous. And I agree with him now. So it was really difficult, for example, for him to liberate us to go to the park, for example. But when I was teenager, yeah, after
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
when I turned 18, he just said, "Live your life. You are
Do
responsible.
whatever you want.
Yeah, you are responsible for you right now, so you
Yes.
can assume all of your consequences. And so if you are screwed, you are screwed alone." And I thought it was a very wise policy. Uh, and uh, and he allowed me to go to the shopping mall because he believed it was a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I usually appointed uh, the meetings with my friends in the shopping mall for
Mm-hmm.
movies, of course, and in the biggest part because sometimes in the movies we can't talk, we have to pay attention in the movie. So we decided to go there just to hang out, and
Mm-hmm.
the only way we had to hang out is eat. So
Yes.
I, I I think I adapted to the situation because I always did that as a teenager. And in the end of the things, my wife and I, we usually went to the shopping mall on Monday nights, because it was the only day I didn't work at night, because I am really a big fan of cinema. I really enjoy. I remember
Yes. Yes.
uh,
Me too.
before the pandemic, my wife and I, we used to go to the cinema every week. Every Monday we went to the cinema. It was our ritual to starting
Mm-hmm.
well a week. I remember there was many times that we didn't have movies to see because we have watched all of them. You know, yeah,
That happens to me in a month too.
it was very funny because they say, "What are you gonna do now?" there is no, and then we watched very horrible movies because of a lack of options. Because we had watched all the movies we wanted, and it was very
What
funny.
Amanda and I, one time we came to the the cinema, and we stopped there and was counting. Né? Saw it, saw it, saw it,
Hmm.
saw it. Yeah, that's one that we didn't see it yet. So we okay, let's go for it. And was the horrible mistake. The
It
movie
happened.
was
It happened.
horrible. And then I look at her at the beginning of the thing, and I say, do you want to go home? It's it's not. It's
I understand your point.
here, and then it's not a thing that I like to do. I don't do that ever. When I start see a movie or a episode, uh, and it sucks, it's mm, a bad decision, but I like to go through it into the end.
Until the
I
end,
like
yeah.
to end it because of the story. I don't use uh, leave the things in the middle. I like
Hmm.
to end it. But that movie was horrible. If we stayed, it will it would be a waste of time.
Hmm.
Then we came home.
I usually watch bad movies until the end too, because I don't like to have this thing in my mind. You know, if I don't finish,
Yes,
I start thinking a lot about that, and I say I'm not. I don't want to spend time. I don't want to
thinking about
waste
that.
time. As I don't want to waste time thinking about this shit. So I
Yeah,
have to go
yes,
through the end, and I usually do that. We usually watch good movies, and that's why, for example, I don't like this idea of having cable TV or paying TV. I spend all my money in the streaming things. So I have
yes.
all the streaming things that is possible. I have
We too.
uh, I have the Netflix, of course. I have HBO Go, and I have Telecine here, so I can watch movies and series all the
Yes,
time I want, whatever I want. And I am really anxious about next year because we are going to have Disney Plus and HBO Max in Brazil.
yes.
So I don't know what's going on because HBO Max, I don't know what I'm going to do, better saying, because HBO Max it's going to come $15, and $15 it's 75 reais. So it's pretty expensive, and I have to
Yes.
decide what I'm going to do because we have Netflix. It's like 25 reais about now. Disney Plus is going to be around $10. So $10, we're talking about 54, 55 reais. And we have the HBO Max, it's going to be 74. So I'm making the calculation here. I'm going to spend next year at about 150 reals with streaming services. And that's kind of
we
worth it.
have we have here we have Telecine, the app, because we don't have cable too.
Me too.
Because I don't watch TV,
Me too.
and neither Amanda. So we signed that service in the beginning of our
Mm-hmm.
marriage, and then stay there. And one time we calculating the bills, and we looked at each other, and man, why we signed that, why we have that, because we never consumed, we never stayed at the sofa watching TV. So we decided to cancel.
Like us,
Uh,
like us. We have the same discussion because we had cable TV in the beginning of the marriage. They say why? Why we
because
spend so much
it's
money with that?
it's like a tradition, right? When we have a house, we have a TV, and we have cable TV service.
Yeah.
But doesn't make it any sense if you
Doesn't. It
don't watch,
doesn't.
right? So we have Telecine, the app. We have Netflix, of course. We have Amazon Prime
Mm-hmm.
because I like the series that they made, and we have what more? Wait,
Okay, you can take your time.
we have Global Play
Yeah,
because
sure.
I like some things that is in there, and I have I don't pay for that yet, but I bought a new phone and I earned a, a year free of the Apple TV Plus.
All right.
So I activated the service and I started to watch a series of theirs. It's kind of like it, but I don't finish yet. It's called oh gosh, wait, I had to remember the name. It's a series of the M. Night Shyamalan. You know it?
No, what is that?
Uh, just a moment.
Take your time.
I don't know how to search things on this app. What the hell? Servant.
Hmm.
Servant. It's a series of. It's not horror. It's suspense.
Thriller.
Yes. Yes.
Like a thrill.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's signed by here by his by he M. Night Shyamalan. He's director of the first,
Mm-hmm.
and it's nice. It's a nice series. But I came to the middle and started doing other stuff, and I didn't finish yet. But
I can
that's it.
understand.
We have a lot of streaming too.
No, we have a lot of options. I don't know what's going to be the future of cable TV because especially the pandemic showed that we don't need it, cable TV anymore. Yeah.
Mhm.
So the channels that do not adapt to this reality, they are going to disappear
Yes. Yes.
because it's really different. For example, when you have a service like that, you know, that it's you are able to watch everywhere, anytime you want. With cable
Yes.
TV, you can't decide anything, and you are paying for that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's much better to decide to pay for something that you are the owner. Yes,
Yes. Yes.
that you can decide
And
whatever you want to do, whatever you want to see.
you can stop in the middle if you want to, and
And sometimes you need to, yes, it's more than once.
yes.
Sometimes you have to say, no, I have to go back to work. So I have to stop here, but I wouldn't like to miss. And then you're going to wait for the channel to pass again. You say, no, of course not.
I remember that a few years ago, that people had the habit to record it.
Mm-hmm.
So you were on the church, for example, and then we talking with friends and people, and then they started to talk. No, I had to go home because I left
The recorder on.
the recorder on. Yes, and
I
then
remember that period. It was a different period of our life.
yes, that's the kind of conversation you don't have anymore.
Don't have anymore. Yeah. That's the kind of interruption we don't have anymore. That's pretty interesting. Well,
Yeah.
and when you're talking about streaming service and all the things, that's it something that it's transformed our lives somehow. Yes, we get freer. Yeah, we're not, as you said, we don't have to wait anymore for anything. And this is kind of the immediatism that it's affecting our children, for example.
Yes.
I was talking to my sister and her husband. He has two sons, you know, and I was talking to these two boys, and they had no idea what is an advertisement, what is the propaganda. And say we were watching the TV, and in the middle of the program, it was passing a propaganda, yes, an
Hmm.
advertisement, and they say, "Papai, it's not working here." Say, it's the TV.
Really?
Yeah, the TV is broken. And I said, no, it's the propaganda. And I say, what is propaganda? And say, it's like a commercial thing. And say, oh, and you can't jump. Yeah,
What?
we can't skip that. And
Uh-huh.
they say, no, you have to wait for that. I say, oh no. And they say,
But
so funny.
it's I remember when I watched TV like 10 years ago,
Yeah.
maybe more. Uh, uh, Sorry, I receiving messages from a source and
Don't worry.
stopped. And I remember when it came the advertisement. I
Mm-hmm.
was jumping on the channels because it sucks.
Yeah, sure. I,
Then was born the time of the streaming in really awesome. But it's a thing
format
of
everything.
our generation, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and it comes stronger right now. Yes,
Yes,
because for example, we are a generation of the beginning of the technology, to be very honest.
yes,
We got the first internet that when it took very long time to access. The websites were something very,
yeah.
very heavy. Yes,
Our
so it took a
generation
long
is
time.
a transition, right? Because
Yeah, between the
uh,
television and the internet thing.
we have
Yeah.
our parents and people that older than us
Mm-hmm.
that was entirely uh, her on early days, teenager and young time, as analogy word. Analogy, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if that's right, but
Analog.
analogic, yes, thanks.
Mm-hmm. No worries.
It's a very analogic word, right?
Mm-hmm.
We
Sure.
start on the analogic words. I remember when I was a child that search things on the Barca books.
True, of course. Yes, the
Mm,
encyclopedias.
yes, yes, and doing homework and
Mm-hmm.
on that stuff. And then when I was a teenager, that already exists internet on, I mean, internet exists a long time ago, but we
It was
don't.
accessible to us. It was
Yes, yes,
accessible to us in the 2000, yes? In the
yes,
2000 there. Yes.
yes. I remember that I got my first computer. I was already on school. Then
Mm-hmm.
now it's a completely different world, right? Oh,
babies work with cell phones. Babies, like I'm talking about
yes.
1 year old, and they totally do the things like digitally. And I said, "Oh my God, what's going on here?"
I was talking with a source other day, and he had have a little child, 2 years old, and he was uh, told me, speaking to me, that the TV was on his house, and then his son was passing
Touching, yes.
the finger on the TV screen to pass channel.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was, what you doing, man? And he told that to me, and I thought that real strength in really funny, actually.
Yeah, it's really funny, and they think it's broken. They say it's not
Yes,
working. It's not working because I am passing here and nothing's happening.
they don't
I
understand that thing. It's
that's really funny, indeed. Because, for example, we are the transition. I remember that the first computer I got in my house, I was about 11 years old, or 10, 11 years old. It was when my mother had an English school for a long time. A long time ago, she had an English school in 2002, and we bought a computer for the school. Yes, so and we had I don't know how to say that in English, but it was like an analogic access to internet, like internet discada.
oh,
Yes,
okay. Yes.
and it was in the beginning of the ADSL technology. Yes, and
Mm-hmm.
people, I had some friends that were very rich, very wealthy, and they got the unlimited internet at home, and I said, "Oh my God!" And they could play games, because I just use it to chat on MSN, yes, like
Mm-hmm.
Messenger
Yes.
or Kuch. So it was what we use internet for in that time.
Yes.
And then it became more accessible, and then we got internet in our houses, in our home. For example, at my house, I remember when I was like 14, I already had internet in my house. So when I was 14, so I think it was considering early 2005,
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of that. And I started to have access all the time. But in the same way, we were very focused to the cable TV, because
Yes.
it was not very simple to download movies or to
Yes.
download things. It was very popular downloading songs
Yes.
on like torrent, something like
Yes.
that. Yes, but
Limeware.
yeah, but sometimes we got some surprises. Yes, because internet is internet.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. It's all
since
kind of virus and stuff.
yeah, since of always we have this kind of things on internet, and now
Yes.
became very simple. Got my friend, I remember that to buy a CD, it was something very expensive. So we downloaded everything, and we never helped our artists. Now with the streaming things, for example, in my thing of I have a planning team, so I have Deezer included, so I can listen whatever I want, yeah,
Yes.
and helping the artist. That is the
Yes. I
important thing,
think that's
for a fair price, for a fair price that I consider.
I think that this kind of business, it's good thing because we use we used to do things in a legal way, right?
Yes, yes, we made some
Downloaded
crimes.
the songs and movies and stuff, and then the
We
artist
we
and
were internet pirates.
yes, and the whole business didn't receive the
Yeah, no, that's
money
excellent.
for that.
It's
And now
excellent.
we of course we allowed to pay, but we know that many people can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a start, right?
Yes, sure, of course.
Many people can't do that.
Well,
Pay
and
for
if
Spotify, for example.
yeah, and they have the free versions. Yes,
Yes,
they have the
yes,
free versions with advertisement
yes,
that the artists are also paid, yeah, somehow
yes.
because of the
Because
propaganda.
the other people who pays kind of sustain the thing, right?
Yes,
Yes, it's a
and the
good thing.
advertisement
It's good times.
and the advertisement they also pay. Yes, for
Yes,
example,
yes, yes,
if a
yes,
company is paying for the free version, yeah, for me to watch, for example, for me
yes,
to have the free Spotify. Of course, in the middle, I'm going to play a song, and in the middle of the song can appear something like that. They say uh,
Magazine
about
Luiza.
propaganda. Yes, like something appeared. They say Coca-Cola in the middle of my in the middle of the song. I was
Yes.
listening to the song, and then in the middle of the
It's
party.
it's annoying because we can't download songs and we can't you only can hear on the I don't know how to say aleatório mode.
Random,
Random,
random.
yes, random mode. So we can choose the
Hmm.
song we're gonna hear, but it's
It's better than nothing.
yes,
Much better. Yes, you're true.
exactly.
So
It's
as
nice.
no, this moment of streaming, it's really transforming. I think. Yeah, of course, we are paying for that, and it's not everybody that can pay that. So a lot
Yes.
of people, the biggest part of people, is still with the television process. Yeah. But when you well balance between cable TV or streaming uh, platforms, I
Mhm.
think there's nothing to think about it. Yeah, yes.
Yes, yes.
There's no
I
comparison.
heard other day that and I don't know if it's correct, but that Netflix on Brazil already have some order of 50 million signatures on the country.
Hmm.
It's a lot of people. It's a lot of
Well, we are talking about 35% of the country. It's a
so
giant.
it's very big.
Sure, of course. And to talk about that specifically, about this accessibility, uh, even the cable TVs, they are working with these streaming things. For example, if you go to Net, they have now that you can
Yes,
watch the movies whatever you want. Yeah.
yes.
So
This
they are
kind of
already adapted.
on-demand services, I think that all the what the companionships uh, already have or it's about to do
Mm-hmm.
the on-demand services because it's necessary. We have a global play, for example. Global, it's investing a lot on this because they started starting to lose space on the markets, right?
Especially
And
because for a long
the
time, they
giant,
invested a lot in channels. I remember that Globosat, for example, it was responsible for almost 30% of the programmation on cable TV. For example, if you're thinking about entertainment, they got Multishow. If you're thinking about movies, they got Universal
Telecine.
Channel. Yes, and no, before that, before
Oh
talking about
yes,
channels,
okay,
yes,
okay.
if you're talking about sportive things, Sport TV 1, 2, and 3, and especially in Olympic Games, for example, they have Sport TV 2000, yeah, in the Olympic Games. And they
Yes,
also had, for example, uh, Asian things. They have Canal Brasil and Viva, for example, yeah, to recording something like that, or to work with soap operas. So they were responsible for a big part of our programmation. And now, when they started, when everything migrated to the streaming and on-demand thing, it was obvious they would lose some space, and then they have to adapt. So they came
Yes.
with Global Play, for example, and Global Play you can watch all the things. Yes,
Yes.
yeah. You can decide. No, I'm going to watch the program from Canal Brasil, and I have all of them there. Yeah.
Yes. And you can watch TV as well on the
Yeah.
app of Global
Yes.
Play.
Alive. Yes. Alive.
Yes, it's what
That's amazing.
I don't use much Global Play. We signed for watch Handmaid's Tale,
Mm-hmm.
and then because it's there, and then I start to rewatch The Big Bang Theory because it's a series that I enjoy, and that's it pretty much. It's a funny thing. We signed Amazon Prime because of a specific series to Fleabag. You know it?
I heard. Yes, I heard it.
It's absolutely amazing.
It's one of from a girl, from a
Yes,
woman. Yes,
yes,
I saw an
yes.
advertise. Yes, it's a very, how do you say, this series, it's one of the most, how do you say, with a big number, the biggest number
Of
of awards.
prizes.
Yes,
Yes,
prizes,
yes,
awards. They got a lot. It's
yes,
amazing. It's like a
yes.
feminist girl. Yes,
It's awesome, man. It's
I
awesome.
I
I
would say.
totally I don't know how to say indico.
Recommend.
Yes, I totally recommend. It's awesome. It's 2 seasons, just 2 seasons, and it's already over. So it's a quick thing. You sit and
It was canceled.
no, it's ended. It
Uh,
was programmed only for 2 seasons.
that's
It's a other thing that we have now. We have mini series, right? Because the people watch so many series, and then the producers start to invest in smaller things, in
sure.
smaller
Yes.
dramas,
Because, for example,
and that's a good
before,
thing, really.
yeah, it's an excellent thing because before, for example, we had seasons with 26 episodes. Yeah, so it was too long, and
The
series that
Big
we
Bang
have
Theory, the Big
a
Bang Theory,
very
for
big number of.
example, the Big Bang Theory, for example, have 12 seasons and for 24 episodes, 4 seasons.
Yeah, it's too
So
much.
it's what? It's
Yeah,
giant.
it's too much.
Now,
But it was because
now
it
we
was.
have 2 seasons and 8 episodes per season.
For example, there are some series that I think they ended in the right time. For
Yes,
example, Friends. It of course, if the directors and the actors they decided to go on, it could have like 15
Simpsons,
seasons. Yeah, like Simpsons, for example. Yes,
50
like we are,
seasons.
and they decided to end in 10, and I think it was the best decision ever, and I can explain why. Because now we are talking about 15 years later. The last season it was in 2005. Yes,
Yes,
so 15 years later we're still talking about Friends.
yes,
You know, because it's something that we miss. We didn't have time to get, how to say, sick of it.
yes,
We didn't have time to say, oh no, I miss Friends because they ended in the best moment they could. Yeah, it was in the
yes,
35 ages,
yes,
and that's the moment we are living right now. Yes, I am not a 30 years old man yet, but next year I would be. And when I
yes,
started, when I got started, it was in the beginning of the process, and I was looking at the future and I say, oh, that's gonna be my life. And now I'm living these things, and I say, oh my God, it's exactly what happened there. So
yes,
it's very
yes.
funny.
It's I watched a lot of Friends. I watched I think the entire thing, all the 10 seasons, like 5 or 6 times. Um and I really liked Friends. But I think that reflecting about it, thinking about it, I think that they made some mistakes on the series, right? And
Mm-hmm.
aged badly, if you think about it. That some jokes about being a lesbian, for example,
Sure,
that
now, of course.
we
Of
don't.
course.
But if you watch thinking about that time, right? If thinking about the 90s, it's awesome. It's awesome.
I
But
think,
it's a kind of thing. For example, I recommended. I already talked about the Friends with my students. For example, I have 18, 17, 19 students years old, and they when they was born, Friends already gone,
over. Yeah.
most over, and then he never watched it.
Yeah, that was my first sensation that I was getting old. It was when I made a reference about Friends
Yes,
and nobody in the class had watched it, and I became like,
yes.
what?
What?
Yeah, it was
Yes,
incredible. I said, no, I had watched a series called Friends, and they say, what, teacher? What have you watched? And it's a very famous sitcom called Friends that I totally recommend. But as you said, of course, we were. It's because we are getting back now. Now we are getting back to a very bad moment, especially in Brazil,
yes,
in the United States, because of our leaderships.
yes,
But in the 90s and in the 80s, we were the sons of the hippies. Yes, this period, we were the
mhm,
sons of the hippies, and then we were started talking on TV about these kind of things, like
yes,
lesbianism and homosexual things, and some, how do you say, uh, abusive relationships. For example, now
yes,
when I watched Friends for the first time, I was in love with the relationship between Ross and Rachel. And I
yes,
now nowadays I hate Ross as a
yes,
man. Yeah,
yes,
as a man. And I say how much Rachel suffered with him.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
because he was a totally a fully asshole. Yeah, he was a
And
stupid
that
fool in all the
that
conditions.
one episode specifically that I really enjoy because they talk about it, and I don't know if you remember, but it's an episode that Ross was talking about complaining about, as usual, about things, and then Phoebe and Monica, I think, kind of reunited, reunited some girls on the coffee place, and start to ask them about Ross. Oh, you maybe go out with him, and then he uh, talk about his history, and they I think it was Phoebe that thought, oh, in the 90s you weren't like that before Carol, and then you are crazy, man.
Hmm.
And they start about talking about it, and it's kind of a nice thing because he is an asshole. But thinking. I think a lot about these things, man. And then Rachel, I think Rachel was a kind of made a lot of mistakes too, because she always really possessive about Ross, and Ross a lot of have a lot of possessive issues also.
Yeah, they were jealous. Yes, they were very jealous
Yes,
from each
that's
other.
the two of
That
them,
is,
right?
yeah, and it was completely
It's
different. For example, the completely different relationship between Monica and Chandler. Yeah,
yes,
that
yes,
Monica and Chandler. I think I wouldn't say it's a goal, but it's a good reflection at what we call a healthy relationship.
yes,
Yes, because for example, Joey, in the same way, it was not a good reference. Because, however, he's a good friend. He wasn't a good man.
yes,
Yeah, talking about women in general.
yes.
So and Chandler was different because Chandler had the jokes, the bad things, but in the end, in the actions, he
Hmm.
was an excellent guy. You
Yes,
know, uh, that's
yes,
what my perspective. Of course, people can
yes.
disagree. And
No, no,
for
no, no.
example,
I agree with you. I kind of Chandler is my favorite character actually.
yes, it's amazing. Chandler and Phoebe, in my opinion, they were the
Yes,
best.
the two of them.
They were the best because they were the most respectful. However, they are always making jokes about
Yes,
not respecting the others, but they are
yes,
always respectful with they were very especially Phoebe. Phoebe was the most empathic person I've ever met in this how to say cinematographic world,
yeah.
yeah, because she
And
lived
I,
very different situations, and like being a beggar, living in the streets, and all these things.
yes, her mother committed suicide, and it's a
Yeah,
tragic story, right?
yes,
But
completely tragic.
she is a really uh, uh, how can I say that? A pra cima,
Well, I would say that she's a very there's a expression
positive
for that.
person.
Yeah, cheered up, yeah, cheered up.
Yes, yes.
Positive person is okay.
Yes, yeah, and I really like it that they the producers have her companion. She was married in the end, and Mike is a really nice character too.
It was so
Played by,
rude, yes.
yes,
Like so rude.
I was really watching interview of his days few days. And Graham Norton, that guy I talked about too. And then he asks to him, Graham asked to Paul, you was on the final episode of Friends, right? And he kind of, yes. Yeah, and I don't know why really, because my character was new on the TV show, but I was there. And then it's a crazy thing. And then I rewatched the final episode, and yes, he was on the final scene, kind
Hmm.
of dislocated. He
He was,
don't
he,
understand,
however,
speak
although he
much,
was
but
a new character, he was in the end in the
yes,
Friends group. Yes,
yes, and became history. That
yeah, it was indeed. It was indeed. I've always watched a very big number of series, and we are talking that the series are getting shorter, 10
yes,
episodes, 8 episodes, like mini
yes,
series with 5 episodes. I watched an
one
excellent
season.
series. Yes, and we don't have seasons. It's like one season and that's all. Like one shot
Yes,
thing. I watched one that I really like, enjoy it. That is Godness, something like that, or Godless.
Godless.
Yeah,
I watched it.
yes, it was
It's awesome.
an Eastern thing, Western thing,
Yes,
and I really enjoyed that. It was deep. It was thoughtful. It was traumatic somehow,
yes,
and everything in well balanced. And say it's not necessary to have another one because they did
yes.
everything it was necessary
That's
to do
okay.
last.
And the most thing that I liked on Godless was the main theme because
Mm-hmm.
we have there women fighting,
Fighting, yes, of course.
and that's
It's like
awesome. That's awesome.
it's one of the ways of the suffragists growth. Yes,
Yes,
that's something
yes,
awesome. For example, I really enjoy this when the producers they valorized more the entertainment than the accountability. You know, when you think more about money and less about the series, you start doing shits. You know,
yes,
then what happens with the biggest number of the seasons we have? Yeah,
yes.
say the two first seasons are amazing, and the third one it's losing the quality.
Yeah,
The fourth one it was just to make money. You know,
we have two great examples of that. We have Lost and we have Game of Thrones.
yeah, that's it. That's it. Game of Thrones and Game of Thrones it's so successful that however they had a not satisfactory. I wouldn't say not satisfactory, but the end was not so hype as
Hmm.
in the beginning. They are going to have some other sequences now, yes,
Yes,
like some
yes,
spin-offs or something like that. I don't know what they're talking about, but accountability is important. We have to understand that money is what rules everything. But
yes,
for example, there are some bad decisions, in my opinion, in Hollywood, for example, that in the end were very good for the process. I can give you one example. If you make the comparison between Marvel and DC, talking specifically about cinematographic world,
yes. Mhm.
Marvel is far away better than DC's cinematographic
Yes,
world, yes, universe. But nobody talks anymore about Avengers. Have you seen that? We don't talk about Avengers anymore.
yes,
Let's say, and
yes,
they're going to starting everything again. And like 4 years later, every day I have a news about Justice League. And Justice League, it was a trash movie. It was a tragedy in the end. But 4 years later, we're still talking about it. Next year,
yes.
they
The
are going
Snyder
to
Cut.
launch, yeah, they're going to launch something else. And nowadays, we're still talking about it. Yes, and it's so impressive that a bad movie can transform in a good thing in the end. Yes, because
Yes.
Justice League was very disappointing.
Marketing.
Yes,
Marketing is it's a tricky thing.
well, nobody's talking about Marvel anymore. I think they lost a lot of time to launch Black Widow movie, for example. They
Yes.
focused in 3 movies of Iron Man, 3 movies of Captain America, 4 movies about Thor, and no movie about Black Widow. I don't know if it's fair, you know.
Yes, and that's another thing because
And they are going to launch a movie right now when she's already
we
dead in the universe.
yes, yes, that was I was talking I will talk I will talk that we already know that she's dead.
Yeah. So there's we are going to know her story, her history, but and
Yes,
then we know her in the end.
they had to do that on the beginning to create background for the character, right?
Yes, I would, yes, like they did perfectly with Iron Man, for example, or with
Yes,
Captain America, or even Hulk. That if you take the
had two
movie from,
movies.
yeah, if you take the Edward Norton movie, it parts of the universe of DC
Yes,
of Marvel, yes.
yes,
Even if you're talking about a different actor, but it's there, you know. Oh, Ant Man, they made 2 movies about Ant Man, and I'm not saying that Paul Rudd didn't deserve it. They deserve that. He deserved that, but he came later. He just appeared in the end. Yes, he just appeared in the universe, and
yes.
Black Widow
Like in
was there.
Friends.
Yes, he was. Black Widow was since the beginning, since the first
Yes,
movie. Yes, and I say, come on, guys, it was not fair. I really think it was not fair.
yes.
They
It's a
made a
bad
movie for
scene.
Captain Marvel. They made a movie for Black Panther that it was amazing. They made a movie for Doctor Strange, but they didn't
Yes.
make a movie for Black Widow, and Black
Black
Widow
Widow.
is one of the originals, you know. So I think it was a
Yeah.
terrible decision.
And I think that they could, for example, explain a lot of things on the Black Widow movie if
And
that on the beginning. For example,
yes,
why, how was built Shield, for example.
for us to understand not just about, but we can understand Shield, we can understand Hydra, and we can
Yes,
understand why Natasha acts like she acts.
yes,
You know, the
yes,
reason that she is what she is. Yeah,
yes,
because everybody understands the behavior of Thor. Yeah, his transformation. In the beginning, he was a god, and in the end, he changed this perspective.
hmm,
Or even Loki had an excellent background. Yeah,
yes, yes,
and the same thing happened with Thor. The same thing happened with Captain America. Even Falcon had a good background, or
yes.
the Winter Soldier. Everybody
And
understands the story
we
of
don't
Bucky.
know almost anything about Natasha. You're right.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
right.
Or the other one, the Hawkman, the Hawkeye. I'm saying the Hawkeye. We don't know his history, but he could be explained together with Natasha's movie because they match each other for long time.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
and it was funny because DC made the same mistake. Uh, although Batman vs Superman, we explained many things about Batman. He didn't have a solo movie like the
yes,
other guys had. Yes,
yes. And will
we
be
have
now
our
the Batman with how
Robert
the
Pattinson,
yes,
but
yes.
he's out of the universe. It's not in the same universe. It's a separated universe. It's going to be a
Like
trilogy.
Joker, no?
It's going to be, yes, it's going to be a trilogy like the Dark Knight. This Batman from Robert
Of Chris
Pattinson.
Nolan.
Mhm.
But I mean DC, it's kind of lost on the cinema, and I completely don't understand that because his animations is awesome. It's awesome, the animation. We have a lot of excellent animations from the sea, and Justice League and Young Justice, and we have some movies that's kind
Or no, or if you're talking about Superman animated series and Batman animated series that came before the Justice League, yes, they are the introduction of Justice League. That is an excellent animation, and even the new 52 that I don't like very much. I don't like this thing
of,
of new 52, but their last movie, for example, the Apocalypse War, it was an excellent animation.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
I don't understand either. For example, I like because I enjoy the characters. For example, I think that people couldn't understand how deep was the relationship between Batman and Superman in that movie, for example.
hmm,
And we couldn't understand because we didn't have the sequence. We should have
yes,
Justice League 1 and Justice League 2
yes,
to understand how it's going to grow up the relationship between them. Yes. But anyway, I
uh,
think DC is lost because they tried to use the same strategy of Marvel.
yes. It's
DC,
a
they have
completely different thing.
to understand that they can't do a movie from Batman for people of 11 years old. They just
Yes,
can't, because we are not talking about a hero. We are talking about a vigilante, a criminal.
yes,
Yeah?
yes.
So that's
He's an anti-hero actually, and I think, in my point of view, DC had the best villains ever.
absolutely, absolutely.
We have Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is awesome,
Do you
and
know? I think there is an analysis. There is an analysis about the villains of DC, especially about Batman's villains. All of them are PhDs somehow. Poison Ivy, for example, she's a botanist, a very
yes,
famous one. Or
Harley
Harley
Quinn.
Quinn, yes, that she's
Yes,
a psychiatrist. or the Riddle, that it's a genius. Yes, the Riddle.
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze, that it's a genius either. Or
Yeah, we
if we
have
talk,
Penguin. Penguin is a
yes, it's a genius
what?
of businessman. Joker,
Yes.
that it's a genius too somehow. It's crazy, the messenger of chaos. Uh, but we have excellent things. Or if you think something, I don't want to talk about something very intelligent, but you're talking about, for example, Has Al Ghul, that it's just a leader of a secret society.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really amazing. I have you played the games
No.
on about
No.
Batman? There is a trilogy, three movies: the Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. I think it is. And we worked with all of these villains. Victor Sass, for example, it's a crazy man,
Hmm.
or the Scarecrow. The Scarecrow, it's a genius
It's a
too.
doctor.
Yes, it's a
Yes.
doctor. So it's amazing how it's not just a villain, a bad guy. No, it always has a very deep reason to be like that.
Yes. Yes.
And because Batman is a detective, so they must have
Yes.
talent.
And all the characters have a deep background, and that's awesome.
Even the people who works with Batman, like the the Catwoman, for example. Yes, she's a thief,
Yes.
or Nightwing and Hobbins and all of these things, or Gordon as a commissary. That's
Hmm.
amazing. Or Two Faces, that it's a prosecutor, a very famous
Yes.
prosecutor. So it's
Yes.
amazing. I think it's
It's awesome.
fantastic in every way you said. And it's impossible to make a bad movie with these elements, and they can do. They did
Although,
Justice League.
although
They did Justice League, for example, and it
they
was,
have Suicide Squad. It's
yeah, man,
what?
how it's possible to make a bad movie with Will Smith as a Deadshot, Margot Robbie as a Harley
Harley
Quinn.
Quinn.
She's amazing as Harley Quinn,
Yes.
and Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. It was impossible to make a trash, and they did it.
Yes.
However, although I think it's a funny movie in some points, it lost the essence. We're talking about a Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad. We're talking about criminals. We're talking about bad guys. So it's not a funny thing. Harley
Yes.
Quinn can make jokes, yes, but Harley Quinn only. Yes, that shot is not a funny man. That shot is a dead shot guy. Yes,
Yes. And he has a real tragic history.
yeah,
So
absolutely. Or for
all of them,
example,
actually.
they dropped the best, in my opinion, one of the best possibilities of histories in the Batman story, that it was Batman versus Deathstroke, for example. That it was the plan in the end of Batman
Hmm.
versus Superman. It
Hmm.
appears the Deathstroke, and
Yes.
that part, it was to be the solo movie of Batman, and I think it would be amazing,
Yes.
but they
And
couldn't handle that.
they would have a real gancho.
Connection, a link.
Yes, a link to do if they want to a movie from of I forgot the name. The group of Robin was a leader.
uh, Titans,
Cyborg and
Titans.
yes, Titans, Teen Titans, and they could have a movie or a series about Teen Titans. Netflix made one, and it's not bad, but
No, I watch it. I think it's good. It's okay because it's in a separated universe.
yes,
Yeah, it's
yes,
in a separated universe. I really liked. It was very. It was the face of DC, because it was tragic. It was violent.
Yes.
Everything that we expect from DC, it's a violent movie.
It's there.
Yeah?
It's there.
It's a violent movie. For example, when they announced Suicide Squad, I was very hyped because I was expecting almost a horror movie. You know?
Yes, Bath Blood.
Yes,
Blood.
I would like to see something like that, as we had,
Yes.
for example, in Suicide Squad, The Last Contract, something like that. That is exactly what we expect to see. You
Yes.
know,
We're,
there's
we're talking about
yes,
a universe where the Joker murdered one of the Robins with a tool of car. I don't know how to
Ed
say.
Cabra. Yes, I don't know how to say
Yeah.
that too.
So, man,
There
him
is
a character
there is
beating
a there is
of death with him.
a theory. There is a theory that would be perfect if it was real. They said that David Ayer, he made an excellent Suicide Squad movie, but it was completely destroyed in the same way Justice League.
Just League.
Yeah, they say that Ayer's cut, it was something amazing because there is a connection. For example, in his movie, explained why Jared Leto's Joker has the metal teeth. It was because Batman hit him so hard because he killed Dick Grayson,
Mm.
the Robin. So,
Yes.
but this is just a theory. And in the movie, they said we had this.
Yeah, it makes sense because in the movie we see the uniform of the Robin with
Yes, the jokes
the
on you,
writings of
Batman.
yes. So
Everything
yes.
it was very connected. I say if they had the full Justice League movie and the Suicide Squad movie, the full one too, I think we could have a good connection. You
Yes.
know, for example, in my opinion, the best part of the movie of Suicide Squad, apart the soundtrack that is excellent,
Yes.
the soundtrack is amazing. But the best part is the end. It's the conversation between Batman and Amanda Waller.
Yes.
Have you watched it? It's like a 2 minutes conversation. That's the best part of the movie. when
Because it's
he's
the children.
announcing he's announcing to her the Justice League, and we just got that after that because he
Yes.
said close your program, say we don't need the Suicide Squad anymore, and say, and what are you gonna do? And say I have my crew, you know, and say everything it was explained. But
Yes.
man,
But
I get very upset. I swear.
money.
I get very upset because they destroyed excellent movies because of the Marvel concept. So
Yes.
DC lost their identity. They created excellent movies like Aquaman and Wonder Woman. And after they got Joker, that it was amazing.
Yes.
But they could do something better. And
Yes. No.
they
Definitely.
I don't know how they
Definitely.
destroyed the best universe ever. I don't
I
know
don't
how, but they
either.
did that.
But
I don't know why they didn't connect it, or they didn't try to connect with Nola's universe, because although Nola's universe is closed in the end with Dark Knight Rises, with
mhm,
Batman and Selina in a restaurant in Italy or French, I don't know.
Italy. Venice, eu acho. I think.
I don't know, something like that. The Zack Snyder's movie could happen later because Ben Affleck, it was a very old Batman.
Yes.
Yeah? We're talking about 50 years old. So he was in the end of the career talking about
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So I think it was possible to connect, but they didn't want it. So
They.
drop it, forget about it. My friend,
Yes.
thank you very much.
Thank
Tomorrow we
you.
continue. We go back to our food topic because we changed it a little. We started in breakfast. We
Okay.
started in breakfast, and then we came from sitcoms and series and all the on-demand
And
streaming process,
cinematographic topics.
cinematographic process. Thank you very much for the chatting. See you tomorrow, right?
Thank you. All right.
Have a nice day.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.